Hi everybody, it's Peter Stockdale, the host of the Spin Market Report. Are you looking for a new place to advertise your business? With over 85,000 YouTube impressions and 20,000 total streams across all platforms in the last 12 months, the Spin Market Podcast Network could be the prime space you've been looking for to advertise your business. Get a hold of Spin Market today and see what advertising on a podcast can do for you. Visit www.spinmarketwith2ks.com or email digitalagent@spinmarket.com for more information.
It's the Spin Market Report. Here's your host, Peter Stockdale.
Hey, welcome back everybody. It's the Spin Market Report. And this episode, I'm sitting down with Cheryl O'Hern. You were on, episode 2, I believe?
So you just had to bring me around for round 2, right?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Round 2. Here we go.
Here we go.
All right. So last time we were talking Buster's Bash, and that was your ribbon cutting ceremony you had for your rebranding, and you had never done a ribbon cutting before.
No, we hadn't.
So we're going to bring you back in here and maybe ask you a little bit more about Spin Market this time instead of keying in so much on that awesome Buster's Bash. That was actually a lot of fun.
It was. And we keep hearing from everyone saying, are you going to do that again? Are you going to do that again next year and make it a regular? So, that's something we need to probably talk about a little bit. But it went really well. Everybody there enjoyed themselves. And we had a lot of conversations from people in the community afterwards as well.
Yeah, I remember setting up for the event and people were driving by like, what's going on? I'm like, oh, there's going to be music and this, little street fair kind of thing going on here. How much does it cost? Nothing. Just come on in.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet. And they just turn the corner and park and walk on over.
And brought all their kids, and that was the whole idea behind it.
Yeah, it was tons of fun. It was
and
really
the minnow
cool.
races, of course.
Oh, man. Yeah. Oh, the minnow races. There's some videos of that somewhere on the internet.
There are.
Tons of fun. I love it. That was everything about that was more fun than I thought it was going to be. Not that I didn't think it was going to be fun, but it's always fun when you go into something like, I have no clue what to expect here. And everybody had such a great time.
Yeah, it was. It was perfect. The weather was perfect and everything just went really smooth, and it was a great evening for everybody.
Absolutely. So let's talk Spin Market a little bit. Spin Market is a Spin Market and digital. You're a digital marketing company, not just digital, but that's what we key in a lot on here. I'm going to kind of get into some of the other stuff in here and why we do digital and maybe, what impacts what kind of marketing services you're going to recommend to people when they come in. But let's start from the beginning here. So what sets Spin Market apart from all the other marketing agencies that are in this area, in this, maybe just in the state? I mean, because I know that there are some other ones, but maybe they don't all do digital.
Right. And there's a lot of different agencies out there. There can be a branding agency. There could be a photo and video agency, those type of things as well. And they're in marketing, different ways of doing it. Public relations, all of those things, they're all marketing in some way or another. So yeah, there's a lot of those across the board. I think, well, not what I think. I know that one thing that brings us on the top of the list is our relationship with our clients, where we are as invested in them as what they invest in us monetarily, but we really take it to the next step. And it was interesting when Scott was in yesterday, he goes, so why, it's a new client, why would I go to Spin Market versus somebody else? And I said, because we are going to not only tell your story in digital marketing, but we're here to get your information out, to network you with the right people, make sure that you are getting whatever services you need, even if we don't provide them.
Yeah.
But there's somebody that, as I told him, chances are there's somebody that I know we can network with.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get in there.
Yeah, I remember we had talked about that on a previous episode where when we recorded like the videos for One Vision, and we needed to bulk up the people going there to do video recording. So you found a third party and brought them in, and it's worked. I mean, it's one of those things, you find a way to make it work no matter what. If it's in-house or bring somebody else in, if absolute last push comes to shove, maybe you can just recommend them to try this out. You never know if this would work, but we have to try something,
Exactly. And being able to have that networking behind us, it makes us totally different. And I hear people from all over. Well, we deal with people all over the United States and the world. I mean, I was in Canada here just a couple of months ago and talking with people from all over the world as well.
Yeah.
on digital marketing.
I think one of the greatest things here is like we can do a lot of the stuff here, but like we don't have the giant printer. So we can send people to printers to do stuff, but we can do the digital media if the printer can't, or et cetera. It's one of those cool symbiotic relationships you have with a lot of the small and medium sized companies, like right in town here. I mean, we do go outside of town sometimes, but a lot of it's really just right here in Fort Dodge.
And it's people, you don't realize it's here. And what was interesting, I just did a ribbon cutting today, and it was Shoe Sensations, and talking to one of the key people that had come in for the event. And I told her, she asked where I was at and what I did. And I said, well, we're digital marketing. And she says, I need somebody local.
Yeah.
Because sometimes corporate doesn't work fast enough for me.
Yeah, 100%.
So, that's a perfect example of where we can fill the niche.
Yeah, I actually have a question about that, about finding some local stuff in here. But let's kind of go down the list here. So what are the biggest challenges you find for businesses that are trying to face, the digital marketing world and not knowing what's going on? I mean, we do a lot of small, medium, and I would say the small end of the big companies, but it's a lot of small and medium companies here. So what's the biggest challenges they face when it comes down to digital marketing?
It's overwhelming.
Yes.
Because, you and I talk about, when we were going over some of that, we have over 400 products that we're able to use, software products that we're able to use for our clients. And you and I were going over that and talking about it, and you're going, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. And that's the same way. And then, of course, now with AI,
yes,
it's a whole nother game out there. And I think a misconception that a lot of business owners have they'll hire somebody with a marketing degree. Unfortunately, a marketing degree only gives them some general ideas of what marketing is. It doesn't really bring into the digital world. I got done before this talking with our digital people that we work with, and we were going over all the stats and information on a new project that we're going to do for another company, and talking about how, we had to change things, move things around. How are we going to direct the market? How are we going to retarget afterwards? What's the demographics? Looking at all that stuff even before we start the campaign.
That's wild.
It is.
That's a lot of work.
It is.
I think that's the thing. A lot of people, I mean, we had talked about this with somebody just yesterday, how like a lot of people see the front end of marketing and they're like, looks easy enough, and they don't see what all goes on in the background. And that's kind of, the last few weeks here, I've been dealing with a lot of that, where it's like, let's see how much SEO optimization we can go and see what kind of benefits we can bring into the content that's already here. We don't have to make new content. I mean, we are making new content, but let's go backwards and see what we can repurpose the old content as. I think that's something a lot of people also overlook with digital marketing.
Well, and that's very true. And I'll tell clients point blank and just say, 80% of what we do, you will never see.
Yeah.
And that pretty picture that's out there, that pretty post on Facebook, whatever, that's the initial got them. But first of all, we had to get them to look at it. And the stuff that we do behind the scenes are what got them to look at that picture.
Yeah. And it's a lot of, it's not always tons of back end work, but there's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes that, like you said, people just don't even see it. And even if they see it, they might not even notice it, like hashtags or keywords to increase SEO, et cetera, et cetera. That's stuff that people might not understand.
And I really enjoy talking about keywords with them and show them, okay, these are initially what we're looking at for keywords. Now let's see what people actually start saying or using when they're trying to find you.
Oh yeah, because you can start with something and then just see what people use to find you, and then just pull those keywords in, because it's like, I guess I didn't think somebody was going to search for it this way, but somehow they found it, and let's make it easier for them to find it now. We talked about that with Jordan, I believe, on her episode a couple episodes back, where it's like, sometimes you want to use the medical term, but you don't realize somebody might just be like, my ankle hurts, instead of being like, or whatever. Or like Jordan's was like, you talk about like a skin condition you might have, where somebody might just search like puffy face.
Exactly.
And again, if you're so entrenched in the industry of whatever you're working with, you might not understand the layman coming out to look for you. And that's where you're trying to bridge the gap for a lot of people.
Exactly, on there. But the other thing that sets us apart is our dashboards that we use. The data and the real-time data, where they can look at that and they go, oh man, individual I talked to yesterday, we were looking at his Facebook page, and I said, well, what happened on October 7th? And he goes, I don't know. And I said, well, look at that spike. I said, you need to go find out what happened that day.
Yeah.
And did you post something different? Did you do something? Was there something in the newspaper? Was there an article? Did the interest rate go up? Did the interest rate go down? Look at those things, because you had a huge strike or jump on October 7th.
Yeah. I mean, that could be something as simple as you posted stuff with the correct words in there. You had hashtags in there. You tagged people. You had comments.
Exactly.
Shares, call to action things. A lot of that stuff is, again, it seems to be stuff that, I don't know, people just don't think about too much. And I even myself coming here new to marketing, I was like, I know these are things, but sometimes I would forget that, like, that's... Sometimes you want to pique people's interests more than you want to just be like, this is a podcast with Cheryl O'Hern. It might be fun to title it something more fun than just Cheryl O'Hern, because otherwise they're going to have to search your name to find it. And
exactly. Well, and that's exactly right. And you want to make sure that they find you. If they already know your name, if they already know your company business, whatever it is, and find you, that's one thing. But that's not your next new customer. They don't know your name. They don't know your address. They don't know anything about you. So your search engine optimization, your local ads, how you look locally, how you show up on the 300 plus databases out there.
Oh, yeah.
All of that plays into, and reviews, your social media, how people are engaging, who's sharing, who's liking, what influencer did finally find you. All of those things play a huge part in the whole scope. And as you were talking about on podcasts that you were going in and doing some new things, seeing the traffic change.
Yes.
And sometimes it was just something little that you did, just a little tweak, and jumped right up.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty wild, some of the increases we've seen in traffic on a lot of the things when you start. I mean, I just sit down with you. I'm like, what's the best way to go about doing this? Well, maybe look into this. I go do a little research, try it out.
Right.
And it works. And it's like, well, let's just apply this to everybody.
And duplicate it. And then keep watching how it changes, because every day it changes. And right now we're in the middle of a presidential campaign, and every day there's a new story coming out. And that could influence your business
100%
on there. And you may not realize it, but something that was said, something that came about, something that was an influencer, whatever it may be. So you constantly have to be watching and paying attention to it. And that's where our dashboards come in and help them, because they can see that information. We can see that information, and it's basically in real time.
Yeah. And this actually basically answers my next question, which was how do consumer behavior, how does that change in this digital engagement world where, you've been working in digital marketing for 10-ish years, 10 plus, I think 12, something like that. So how has that changed? The obvious thing would be the dashboard allows you to see how it's changing in real time. We had talked about this earlier where it's like, I can do what the dashboard does, but it takes me all day to collect the data. And then by the end of the day, it's outdated.
Yes, exactly.
So if you want to do that all day, every day, and just to get the data, you can, but you can also just go to this dashboard. You could see exactly what's changing, when it's changing,
exactly. Yes.
Research why it's changing.
And then because it is real time, you can go back and look really quick and see, okay, what happened that day? Like I said, was it something that you posted, something that somebody said? A certain person saw it and shared it, and they have a huge group of people, followers on it. And so you saw the spike. So many things. The numbers are one thing, but you have to dig a little bit deeper in there to really find out what actually happened and what made those changes, good or bad.
Absolutely. So what are some common misconceptions you hear people make when they come in here, maybe for a consultation or something like that they might not understand about digital marketing? For me, I would just say, I don't want to throw myself under the bus, but I tend to think that print and things like that I'm older, and I haven't spent a whole lot of time in marketing. It's like, well, I kind of think that is kind of tantamount. I see billboards on my way to Fort Dodge every single day, but not everybody drives the same route I take. Not everybody reads the newspaper. Not everybody looks at the flyers hanging in the window of the business or whatever it happens to be. So what are some misconceptions people might have?
The biggest misconception is in what you brought up, or what we usually call traditional marketing channels, is vanity marketing, is what I call vanity marketing. And it's really you see it, so therefore you think everybody else sees it. You drive by that, you pick that billboard because you drive by that billboard.
100%. Yeah.
And you're going, oh, well, the whole world has to see that billboard, right? Because I saw it.
Mm-hmm.
In reality, they don't. And did they really even look at it? Was it in a good place? Was there a tree in the place? Was there a flag flying in the place?
Is the print too big?
Is the print too small? Did you put too much in there? Is the picture so little that you can't even tell what it is? You know, there's so many other things, but you saw it on a piece of paper. You picked the place for it to go. And therefore, it's a great move. Now, that's not saying billboards aren't appropriate.
Oh, they work.
They work. But you need to understand what type of work in marketing they do. And they're really basically more of a branding. Mm-hmm. They're not a call to action.
Yeah.
Not unless it's an event.
Yep.
So it's, something like, let's take the Iowa State Fair and you see all kinds of billboards go all up. There's a reason for that. It's a call to action reminding you that the Iowa State Fair is at this time, and they spend a lot of money on billboards. But do you see any billboards the rest of the year?
No, because it's not necessary.
It's not necessary. Okay. So they changed their marketing strategy during the rest of the year to something different.
I like it.
And that's how you need to adapt your marketing on it and understand the different channels. Now, I was just on a podcast, which you were pulling some reels off of, where Dean asked me, what do you think is one of the areas that businesses really need to concentrate on? Or I can't even remember what his question was on it. And I said, customer service.
Yeah, he was just like, what? I've never heard somebody answer it that way.
Yeah, customer service as a marketing?
What? The thing is, I'm just going to pull your answer. We can lead the horse to water, but we're not the ones asking the horse to drink the water. That's on the company, and that's one of those things where it's like the customer service for our end to our clients is one thing, but they also have to follow through to their customers.
Exactly. So yeah, I bluntly just say, I can get them to your door. I just don't know what happens when they open that door.
Which, again, this is where we were talking AI earlier.
Yes.
Some of that is helping us out in this situation, helping out other customers, clients, everything. I mean, it's like chat bots and things like that. I understand people, when they hear chat bot, they're like, bot, no, boo. But it's fun to sit down and test these when you set them up and just see how awkward of a question can we ask? How vague can we be to still get the answer we need? And it's usually...
It's really good.
Yeah, like 98, 99% of the time, it's spot on.
It is.
You can just... We tested one the other day, like, I'm trying to call this person, and it was just somebody who worked for an organization that the website was for.
Right.
They may or may not have even been in the website, but the bot knew how to find the person and say, this is how you can contact them. I'm sorry, but like, this is what we have for information. And it was the right information.
It was amazing on it. And I believe when we did it, it was, we said that we thought this was their email.
Yeah.
On it. And they, but then it was really neat how it positioned itself and said, well, while you're here, basically it said something like, while you're here, is there anything I can tell you about our business?
Yes.
And so it took a situation in where somebody misunderstood what was all about and was trying to turn it around into a potential sale.
Yeah. Oh, you're trying to talk to Steve? Well, here's his information. This is how you can get a hold of him. But while you're here, is there anything I can help you out with this company for?
Exactly.
I can tell you anything else you need to know. Again, AI coming in clutch. It's really fun. It's not like it's taking over.
No, it's not. You still have to have a body behind it to make it work.
100%.
And so anybody that really thinks it's going to take over a lot of jobs is not. But we are, as we're working on our end of the AI, that chat box and the Universal Business Hub that we work with clients on, which is just rocking the world. The ones that are using it and embracing it are just loving it. But they're coming back and saying things like finding out that maybe it saves like 40 hours of work in an office in a month.
Can confirm.
A whole week of somebody working in an office, it saves that time to free them up to do other things that need to be done or do a better job in keeping track of things because of the AI.
Yeah.
Being able to do that.
And I'm not trying to like call out like receptionists, but I remember that being something in a meeting we had sat down in where they kind of discussed like this could, supplement a receptionist. You'll still need somebody there to go through the information.
You need a body there yet.
But they don't have to sit on the phone all day. They can work on other stuff while AI is taking in emails, taking in chats,
and the
calls.
other end to that is the number of people through the middle of the night
Oh yeah.
that are going to your website and are able to get those answers.
Yeah.
And then, but at the same time, having the AI capture their information so that you can call, either they can call you, you can call them, whatever it may be the next day. Because right now, and if you didn't have that, you wouldn't know who was actually going. Well, you can. There's other software that we can put on there that'll tell us who's on your website. But you don't have that opportunity to have that communication with them.
Yeah. If you miss a phone call when the doors are closed and you don't have an answering machine, and they don't leave you a message or something, then
They just go clunk.
Yep. Oh, well, they're on to the next one, you know.
But they don't have a problem talking to a chat box.
Which is, well, it's what?
It is, as long as the chat box comes across and what's also interesting is one thing that we've used as an illustration is your chat box doesn't have an attitude or a bad day.
Oh, that's true.
So you don't have to worry about it not handling the customer quite right.
Yeah, a customer service, right back to
That's
having,
right.
yeah, optimal customer service. I love it. So we got small, medium-sized businesses here. What are some strategies they can use to increase their online presence? I know we already talked about things we can add onto websites would be like a big one, but how about just a website in general?
Exactly, just a website in general that really represents your brand.
Oh yeah.
And we talk about the niche companies that use the same template over and over and over again, no originality. And you look at it and you go, okay, well, whatever, it's what I need, but that's it. But then how do you get them engaged so that they really look at it? So, like on your dashboard, you're able to see that they go to this page more than another page, and they spend this much time on there, and they click this button because the heat map shows that they clicked that button, and they were there for 1.2 minutes, where every place else it was a bounce on it. So your website is now your brick and mortar store to the world.
Yeah.
It's your front door.
Yeah. I mean, that makes me think back in the day, like you had to drive to Des Moines to see a storefront to go in and shop for things. And nowadays I can just go online.
And that's your storefront.
But we talked about it. I mean, it was a thing on Spin It, the old podcast we had, which maybe might come back, but like, if it doesn't look secure, if it looks outdated, if it looks old, if it doesn't look like anyone's monitoring it, if the information is no longer valid, it's like, I don't have any interest in this anymore.
Right. Because if they don't care enough to take care of their front door, how are they going to take care of me as a customer?
Yeah. I mean, the place could be a Cadillac on the inside, but if it's an old busted up jalopy on the outside, then I'm not really, I just won't even go in.
A realtor will call it curb appeal.
I love it. Yeah.
And that's exactly right. It's your curb appeal. It's your front door. It's how you look and how people are going to perceive you as a business owner.
Yeah. I mean, websites are definitely important. We talk about it a lot on here too, where you can use social media, but it gets buried so fast, and then you got to go hunt down the information. It's not organized really well. Even no matter how hard you work to organize it, it could become outdated very quickly. So that's where the website comes in handy. I love it.
So think of your social media marketing channel as your introduction, or your elevator speech.
Yeah.
That you are presenting to a potential client. It's your way of saying in 30 seconds or less, because that's about all you've got, in 30 seconds or less, what your business is about, and then redirecting them back to your website.
Absolutely. I like that. Yeah. I love the concept of that. So let's say somebody comes in, they just maybe want a consultation. They want to see what kind of things you offer. They've got an idea for something they can do with their business. What are the basic steps you can do for a customer fresh off the bat? I know, like, one of my favorite ones I remember you talking about was like, well, let's just look at your industry and then compare what you have right now to your industry, and that's it. And sometimes that's enough information to be like, I need to change some stuff.
Exactly.
And
that's where coming in again with data, making decisions based on the information, not on the emotion.
Yes.
Because that's so hard for business owners because it's their baby, especially the smaller and the medium ones. And, maybe they've invested every penny that they own. Maybe they mortgaged themselves to
all their time,
their energy, everything in it. And the emotion is there, and that data helps to better gear that emotion. And I use this illustration a lot. When my daughter was at UNI, Scratch Cupcakery was just getting going. And she had was moving downtown, downtown Cedar Falls, and my daughter was going to be working there part-time during the school year. And they had a meeting. It was on a Sunday night. She called later that night, and I said, "So how'd the meeting go?" And she goes, "Mom, Natalie was crying."
Yeah.
And I said, "Kinsey, you have to understand. That's her baby. She started in her basement with a stove."
Oh, yeah.
And from there, she now has how many storefronts? A traveling cupcake, where they pop up all over. I said, that's the emotional part. And it made her emotional when she was talking to you about it to get you guys, organized as to what to expect in that business.
And that's how much this impacts business owners. That's how much they care about it. And that's
so you got to take that emotion out, though. We want you to be embedded and emotional about it, but we also have to make the decisions based on what's going to work and what's not.
Absolutely. So we've talked about maybe like some things you can do for companies when they first come in. One of my favorites, again, was just looking at the data and comparing it to the rest of the industry.
Do a snapshot report.
Yeah.
We've had how many new websites here in the last couple of weeks that showing them their snapshot report, and one went, it was like 27% out of 100, and they're going, I had no idea. I thought everything was fine. And then because the snapshot report not only grades them, but it gives them specific things that they are lacking in that their competition is exceeding in.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about some of the services we can offer people here at Spin Market. The obvious one would be to just like a consultation of some sort. You've been in this industry working for yourself for 10 plus years, but you've had your foot in the door in this industry for longer than that. You've worked for Fortune 500 companies. So you've got experience in this. That'd be probably the biggest thing I could think.
Yes.
Sometimes just opening up the conversation is enough to make you realize we might need to change something.
Exactly on there. And so having those conversations, because I say, all right, tell me about your business. Talk to me. Just the new gentleman that was here yesterday.
Oh yeah.
When one of his ideas as he's been standing in the grocery stores watching how people with the product that he wants to put out on the market, looking at other product there and watching how they look at it, how they pick it up, what they do with it, all those things. And I'm going, wow, you really did the research.
Yeah.
And then he made the comment about, well, what if we did a QR code that explained right on the front of the package that explained how much better my business is?
Yeah.
Or how much better my product is than somebody else. I said, perfect.
How easy it is to use.
Yeah.
How
15-second blurb on it instead of them picking up each one and reading. Okay, this one says this one says that, and they're back and forth. And we are visual people, and a 15-second video usually gets more traction than a written content.
Absolutely. So we got consultations we can offer people. You mentioned websites earlier, which is something we do a lot of here. I mean, it's staggering to me how many businesses I go to their stuff and they're semi-local, maybe this county, one group of counties out, two groups of counties out. And it's like, oh, you guys made this website. Maybe it was last year, but it's like, I didn't even know you made this website because I just started working here this year. So you guys have done a lot of work since I've been here, but even in the past, before I was here, you were just cranking out websites for people left and right. What are some of the things that go into websites? I know it's photography. There's some video, logo, colors. I mean,
story, color. Oh yeah. Different, how the logo looks versus, what the colors of it, all of those things play in there to how the website comes across and what your brand really is.
Yeah. You can put that AI chatbot on there.
AI chatbot on there so that it helps you in those regards. Of course, your CRM, the chat box actually takes the information, puts it in your CRM, your customer relation management tool, so that you can do marketing on it afterwards. Yeah, just the website is your front door. And then the rest of it is telling about your story.
Yeah, I think it's funny when people, might shy away from a chat bot because it's AI or it's a bot or whatever. But the thing I think is funny now is there's so many industries where this is kind of necessary, and when I find websites that don't have one, I'm like, why doesn't this have one? I'm not going to pick an industry maybe, but let's just say, for instance, this industry, it's like, this is a lot of digital or a lot of communication or a lot of something, electronics or something, but it's like every one of these websites has one of these chatbots, the big ones, the small ones, the medium-sized ones. Yeah. And then when you run into one that doesn't, you're like, what's going on here? I sure could use that chatbot right about now.
Yeah. And it's a great way to have them learn more about your business and have the chat box again, help that customer service end so that they're really giving the answers at 2 a.m. or whatever it may be, because that's when people get on.
Yeah. I mean, if I want to look for something, I'm not doing it at work, you know, and that's when I'm not at work, the company that I'm looking up nobody might be at work. So that's the best way to get a hold of somebody is something like that.
And you know that they're not at work because 80%, well, they could still be on their phone and you doing it, but 80% of the people looking on your website are going to be mobile.
Oh yeah. That's something.
So 80%, that's what you got to keep in mind. And because it's on a phone, it needs to be done different. It needs to be mobile ready, but it also needs to be adapted because you're not going to sit there and scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll.
That's the curse of the landing page on mobile.
Or isn't there a Geico ad where he scrolled so much that he had to have a massage therapist work on his finger?
Well,
or isn't there a commercial with that one?
If there is, we know
Mackenzie's laughing over there going, just goes, where is she getting this stuff at?
Well, we know a massage therapist. She was on a couple episodes back.
Yeah, oh, there you go. I'll have to talk to her about it. I'll
go
have to
back
talk
and
to
listen
Elsa.
to that. So we got some of the things you can offer people. There's a lot of services, websites, logos. We're talking your AI optimization, the business dashboard, which is wild. It's crazy to see all that stuff just real time being like wham.
You just have to connect.
And that's
and then most companies don't have that service where they'll have maybe a dashboard for their product, but they don't have the ability to connect and with certain apps anymore. You can connect just about any kind of data in there.
I love it. So, that's probably a good example of how things have evolved since you started here. More traditional, maybe when you started, even though digital was around, it was not as impactful.
It was social media mostly, and a cheesy website.
Can confirm I've made myself a cheesy website or two, but don't worry, we've got real professionals here working on the websites.
That's right.
It's funny because I remember Mac on an episode was talking about how a lot of people use mobile, and it's like, do they really though? And it's like, well, if you're at the state fair and you see a QR code, you're not getting a laptop out of your back pocket and scanning a QR code.
Yeah, exactly. And the ribbon cutting I was at, they had a great big QR code right out there so you could sign up for a contest.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so we got trends changing in digital marketing. What do you see changing in the next 5 years? Let me ask you that, because I think AI is only going to get better, and I think that people are going to possibly quit turning their nose up at it as much as they are now. Not that everybody is, but there's still a lot of hesitation.
Yeah, there is. There's, and every new change is scary, no matter what. People hate change, but it's inevitable.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the Model T. People said that it would never go anywhere. We'd still be driving horse and buggies.
Imagine the street cleanup on that. Oh my gosh.
Okay, well, that's a whole nother conversation. But there was people that had to have jobs to do that.
That's true.
Clean up on there, but the horses went away and they found a new job.
Bingo. Yeah, everyone has to adapt. And I think AI is one of those things. It's only going to change and get better over time, and that's something we found is like we can interact with one type of AI and kind of train it to our preferences so it knows mostly what we're looking for.
And talk to your brand.
Yeah. It's really kind of fun, like the kind of stuff that it can do. Is there anything else on the horizon that we just like, Cheryl went to a meeting in Canada recently. Did they talk about something where like, oh, there's some stuff coming out that,
Well, there is. And again, it goes with the automation end of it on it, which, we're working on some of the things to be automated. And that doesn't mean that we don't want to do customer service. It actually is customer service because we want to make sure that we are being consistent.
Yes, and efficient.
And efficient with them, with our clients, and not forgetting something that's really important, especially if you don't do something right in the back end on that website or on whatever digital platform we're doing. It can really impact how much they're spending their money. Mm-hmm. So we need to make sure that we're always staying on top of it. I can't point a finger on just one thing out there other than the fact that you will see a lot of changes in the direction of marketing and what it needs to be done. And a business, if they're going to stay on top of it, they're going to have to make adjustments. somehow,
Absolutely.
whether it's, hiring us as a fractional CMO on there just to come in and give them some ideas, and on there, when we bring in interns in here, what their comments is, we didn't do this in school.
Yeah.
Or,
or they get the basics of it and they've never applied it in a real world situation. They're like, I didn't know, I guess I never thought of doing it this way.
Right.
And
so you really need to be in the trenches to understand how marketing works. And a lot of the people out there that we work with or we see, they may have a marketing director, but they have no experience in digital.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or they have no experience in designing a website or anything like that. And so you need to help them understand why there is a method to our madness here, that there is a reason why we're suggesting you go this direction, not because for any other reason other than it's in your best interest.
Yeah. I mean, I don't do as much as you do. I do a lot more social media, podcasting, YouTube channels, and with those things, optimizing them in the best way possible. And that's one thing I've definitely noticed is just because you put it online doesn't mean everyone's going to see it either.
No, that's very true.
So that could be.
And then you have to retarget them. So how
Yes.
do you retarget them? Well, there are ways to retarget them on it, and it's not a case of necessarily mailing them a brochure in the mail or whatever. And that could be one, but understanding. I think the thing that's going to really grow a business is understanding each channel of marketing and what makes it work and what doesn't make it work. So if you're going to do a mailing, and what else are you going to add along with that?
Yeah, you can't just send them a postcard
No.
that says like, "Hi, we have a company." You have to have some sort of a call to action.
Call
to
to
make
action with
sure
it.
it worked.
And you should have some social media, maybe some type of Facebook posting going out or ad or whatever along with it, so that, okay, we saw this in the mail 2 days later. Oh, yeah, that's right. I saw that flyer. Or, oh, I saw that billboard or whatever. So you can't just use one channel and be effective anymore, because people are mobile, people are changing, people are expecting things in speed time, and you have to adapt.
Absolutely. So let's talk about something here that I think is really fun. So you have a lot of creative people in the office.
Right.
You also have a lot of analytics that need to be done in the office. Do you find it difficult to balance the two, or is it just you as a manager? It's just what you've done, so you're a little bit better at it than, because to me it's like I'm more analytical than not that I'm not creative, but again, Mac's making the websites. Mac and Abby are making websites here because they're the best at it.
Right.
They went to school for it and they're good at it.
And
They
they're
have
good
an eye
at it.
for it.
Right.
Oh, they're really good at it.
Yeah, they are.
There's stuff where like I can build websites. They don't look as good as Mac and Abby's,
And they have the little creative idea, take one little picture of something and make it animated to do something else to attract everybody or whatever. Yeah, they do a great job. Megan too. We got to put Megan in there.
Yes, absolutely. Got to throw Megan in there. Cause Megan's done stuff even for me. I'm like, can you do this on this website for me? Cause I think it might help out the customer. Yeah, sure. Why not? And she'll go in and crank it out. I think that's probably the funnest thing here is finding that balance of those two. Cause again, you can't make the decision based off emotion. You have to analyze the data.
Right.
But then that's another thing. It's like, well, let's make a website and then let's come back 3 months and audit it and see what happened.
Exactly.
What's working the best here and why was figured out.
Right. On there, because things have changed and there might be something that needs to be tweaked in it in 3 months. And that's probably the biggest, one of the other changes that people are going to see our businesses is they're going to have to update their website more frequently.
Yeah.
And either they're going to have somebody internally to do it or hire somebody.
Yeah.
But, and I would say just hire somebody, because we can do it faster
Yeah.
and better than you having somebody internally trying to do it, that they could do a better job. So it's not necessarily, oh yeah, well, they're really good on social media, so they can do this. Well, maybe they can, but is it use of their best talents within your organization?
Ooh, true.
So I think it's, what is their talent? Keep that going. It's not in, an electrician is going to bring in a plumber.
Mm-hmm.
You may know how to do it. You may know how to put a faucet in, but chances are he's going to stick with, or she is going to stick with being the electrician and give somebody else the plumber.
Exactly.
We're not any different. That's where like with a fractional CMO, if, they need somebody to come in and look at stuff, we can go in and look at it as a fractional, just temporary, or whatever it may be, and help redirect them or replace or help them train staff or whatever it may be. So that's one of the other offshoots of things that we do.
So another thing that kind of interests me about this is, do you have any insight into, like, let's say somebody wants to do marketing. We deal with a lot of different industries. It's not like we're just only working with a restaurants or only working with, whatever, just name an industry. We go down different industries, different sizes of companies at different points in their lifespan, companies first starting out, companies that have been around for 10, 20 years, it's everything. Are there marketing challenges that are industry specific or company size specific? Because I noticed that maybe a few industries utilize things a little bit more than other ones, one of the, again, I'm just gonna say the chatbot. It's weird to me if you go to an infotech type website and it does not have a chat box on it.
You would expect that.
You would expect it, but like if I'm going to, I don't know, just a grocery store. I mean, maybe they do have chat boxes on there. I don't know, but I don't necessarily.
I don't know. I haven't looked.
I don't necessarily expect it as much.
Maybe we could sell that.
Yeah, you can try.
Okay.
But it makes me think, like, are there things like that you see, like these industries, usually this works a little better with this industry than most things?
Wait, that's going to be with any industry out there, but across the board, marketing is marketing. Mm-hmm. You need to tell your brand, you need to be unique, you need to have customer service, you need to have all those elements. You just need to worry about your company, about your brand. Yes, you need to pay attention to the competition, but don't be so fixated on what your competitor is doing. Mm-hmm. Look at, okay, he or she is doing this, but what do I do that differentiates me from he or she, or that business? And you capitalize on that. Let them capitalize on what they're good at. You capitalize. That's where I'll throw customer service there. We've seen, a lot of fiber build out and telco, and we're seeing a lot of those clients coming to us, and they all basically have the same products out there, same widgets, whatever it may be that they're selling. The thing that differentiates them over the bigger boxes or the bigger companies that have more money to spend is customer service.
Yes. There's sometimes small, medium-sized, or those small or big companies. Then those are the ones that are going to be in your region anyways, have local people coming out to service if they need to service things, as opposed to
somebody else that has I am an authorized blank, blank, blank dealer to, on their van, and they drive in, have no affiliation with them other than they're a contractor that's out doing something.
Contracted out through the company. So yeah, I mean, those are always kind of things that kind of make me think, wow, this is what separates the big companies from the small companies is that customer service aspect.
And so that's where a lot of the things that we're providing them improves that customer service, or gives it an element of customer service without them having to necessarily hire somebody. Because we all know it's hard to find.
Yeah, I think it was like episode 5 maybe with Marcy from WCCTA, and that's something we talked about. It's like, you have a company that's a co-op, and it's kind of big. I mean, a lot of money goes through this company, but it's a co-op, so it's all involved only with the customers.
Right, and that's their whole thing is making sure the customers are happy, because they the money that they generate on that gets back to the customer. So the customer has a vested interest in it as well. Yeah,
the customer is the shareholder instead of being somebody on the side buying the shares.
And so that's why they have to take care of them.
I love it. So some marketing challenges, are they unique to the community? So we were talking billboards earlier, and I was thinking like small towns, maybe billboards might or might not work as much as maybe bigger ones. More people, bigger cities might see it. Or like you wouldn't want to put a billboard northbound for something in Fort Dodge if you're leaving Fort Dodge northbound. It's like, why would I need to be advertised to when I'm going the opposite direction? So there's,
again, those are things that you need to think about. Communities, there's a lot of demographic things that would change. Okay, so
or do you think this impacts traditional marketing more than digital? Let me ask you that.
No, because right before I came in here, I was working on a digital project for Monday, and we were looking at different communities and the changes. So the demographics for Des Moines are totally different than the demographics for Fort Dodge.
Oh, yeah.
So, okay, what works in Des Moines on the digital may not necessarily work in Fort Dodge. So that was what we were talking about is, okay, how we, this is working really well in Des Moines for this client, but here's the same kind of a client here in Fort Dodge that we're going to do work for. How do we make that adjust to that community that they're in?
I love that. Yeah. I mean, that's something that I think a lot of companies may not even think about. Like, let's say somebody has a company that does well in Fort Dodge, and they're like, I'm going to build a second one of these in a town, whatever, Ames or whatever it happens to be. We'll just repeat the process here down there, and it'll all work out. And it might not because of these factors.
Well, that's a perfect example. Just think of, what McDonald's serves here in Fort Dodge. Do they serve the same thing in Tokyo?
No.
Okay, but it's McDonald's.
Yeah, it is. I mean, they probably still have the Big Mac or whatever.
Right. There's certain things, but there's other things that you see that they'll introduce or whatever in because it's a country and they do it different.
I love it. Fast food, McDonald's. It's like that's branding right there.
Branding right there.
I love it.
And they have to adapt to their community.
I mean, it could just be cultural difference. Yes. It could be just regional difference. It could be something as simple as how you're typing things out to dialect to the person,
right.
Like
exactly.
American English versus British English. It's
because that's what they ask.
Yeah, they're close, but not quite.
Yeah. Do you want me to answer this question in British English or in American English?
Yeah, it's fun. Oh, I love it. So we've discussed a lot of different things about the company, things you can do for customers, things we analyze before we do anything, how sometimes just coming in, having a conversation is a great place to start. Just to get your foot in the door to say, like, I might not know what I don't need, but can you at least show me what you're seeing here? Right. You don't have to do anything, but that's something they just have to call or get a hold of you. Go to the website, hit the chat bot, hit the contact page, So how are you staying ahead of the times here? I mean, I remember you talking about you went to Canada and had a meeting, and that was one of the things where it's like, it's Canada, it's America, it's people from, all across America.
Yes. All across the world.
We're talking Europe. We're talking parts of Asia. Right. Some people came over from. So it's people from all over the place coming together to talk about what's working for them, why it's working,
and what's on the horizon for a digital world.
Yes. All right. So that's probably the biggest thing you're doing is consistently staying up at these meetings, contacting other individuals who are either making these softwares or who have control of the software, or people that are utilize this software and allow you to utilize it maybe in a fashion where let's test it out for them and see what happens. And then we'll kind of just go from there, and I think that's one of the things is that networking component.
Exactly. Again. The networking on it, as well as the fact of, here, I was on a panel with one gentleman who is the marketing guru of this huge multimedia company.
Cool.
And then the other gentleman I was sitting by is a huge company out in LA.
Nice.
And here I am, Fort Dodge, Iowa, and they're taking our information and our comments and just as important as these two guys that are dealing with a whole different world out there.
Yeah.
It was really fun.
Yeah. I think that's one of the things that might be shocking. Not that we're going to open it up and show everybody, but we got a big client base here.
Yes.
It's pretty wild. I mean, when I first started working here, I was like, all right, what do you got? 10 people that come in here and need, it's like, no, that's a lot of people that are coming in here. A lot of companies, a lot of people, like you said, even just coming in to inquire,
right.
just to
I think get a
baseline for everything.
The trick or treating the other night, one lady says, "Can I have a rack card and your business card?"
Yeah, and
didn't have a chance to talk to her. I don't know what she was looking for, but yeah, she was trick or treating with her kids and.
Well, it's fun because I remember seeing a guy come up. He's like, "What's this place?" And the lady's like, "It's digital marketing." He's like, "Digital marketing," and it's like, "Oh, it's cool." But now we have somebody that knows what this is, and she's educating this person who doesn't know what it is. And we almost didn't even have to do any work. We just handed out candy, and it's like, "Yeah, hey guys, come on in if you need anything."
Exactly. It was fun.
I love it. All right, so one thing I wanted to talk to you about is supporting local businesses.
Right.
So we do a fair amount of that. I mean, it's a lot of it is just in the fact that we don't make any money unless our clients make money.
I mean, pretty much. We we're not going to be able to keep them if they're not making money.
Bingo. Yeah.
That's it.
I mean, it's one of those things. I think that is one of the things that is the best about the community involvement we do, which is, it seems weird because we're just using business for community involvement, but you're bettering this community and any company that comes in here and the communities they're involved in, just based on the simple fact that everything looks more professional. It's easier to find, easier to use. easier to interact with the people who are running those companies or to procure their services even, and I think that's one thing.
You bring up a really good point with that, because as their business grows, so does our community. But we also have to keep in mind everything that they put out there is a visual of our community.
Yes.
Because we are a very digital world. So whatever you as a business here in Fort Dodge or anywhere, and let's just say Iowa, anywhere in Iowa, you reflect how you are doing things reflects to anybody else in the world.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, I mean, it definitely, it makes our community look better as well as making the company look better.
Yes, exactly. And the more that we can work that way together, everybody's going to benefit.
Yeah, absolutely. So do we have any future projects you're really excited about? I know for a fact that we have a lot of websites to make before the end of the year, which is a good thing. I'm actually excited about that. I mean, there's not
variety.
Yes. It's not like we're just, we need to make 10 websites for fast food places. No. It's not like something like that. It's the company A in industry A, company B in industry B, company C, maybe in industry C. I mean, we have a bunch of different industries of people that have come in here looking. I mean, you were talking about a client that has something they're possibly going to sell in a grocery store or attempt to, go to a retail environment and bring a product in. Like, we're talking everything. It's not like we're just doing only dentists or only telcos or only, there's so many different, I was going to say only this or only that, but we do have a handful of companies we're bringing in, but
I can't wait till Cosmic Smash Burger gets released, I can't wait because Abby's done such a great job on it. And it should be any day now.
Yeah. And that's another one. We do have
a truck. It's a food truck.
I love it. A website for a food truck.
Yeah. Or, Miss Casey's Donuts.
Oh yeah.
As well. That's a food truck on there. So there's a couple of those. Furniture store.
Yes.
Taking their marketing to a whole different level and getting them to understand things a little bit different and just, telling them what they need to do and how they need to put it together, and telcos, and I don't know, I can't even think of all the different stuff.
Well, you already named like 5 different industries.
Yeah, 5 different, and there's still a whole bunch more because we've got a bunch to get done before the end of the year.
Yeah, that makes me think about and I'm not going to call them out, but it makes me think about there's some industries that just haven't changed fast enough, and I feel like furniture companies are really right now making a big turn. I mean, it used to always only be mailers with furniture companies, like our mattress companies or things like that. Mattress companies was President's Day was the day you bought a mattress or whatever. But they're starting to everything's shifting.
Right. And this one company that we're working with is seeing that, because I've told them, okay, pull up your stats from a year ago. Look at what you did, because you were doing mostly mailers, and look at where we're at right now, and they're seeing significant change. Now, again, we're not going to say there's nothing wrong with mailers, but
they work. I mean,
they work. But
I've had people send me mailers, and I've looked at them, but again, I didn't do any of the call to action stuff because it didn't interest me.
Right.
So you're just blindly guessing at
where digitally we are looking at what group best fits your product and services. Pediatric dentist.
Yeah.
A perfect example. We're looking at people that are buying diapers, people that are buying baby food, people that are buying cars that have extra seats in it because they have a whole bunch of kids, that they're streaming certain things, all of those things. And those are the people we're targeting to, not the grandparents necessarily, because...
Or me necessarily.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you, if I got a mailer for a pediatric dentist, I would just be like, neat, and then just set it down and never look at it
again.
And,
you may tell somebody about it, but that's not necessarily the market that you want to go after. So that's what we're doing, is looking at what is the market and what's the most efficient way to get that news to them.
I love it.
And get that return on investment. All
right. So I asked you this question the last time you're on the podcast, so I don't think I'm going to ask you again, but name a time in your life when marketing impacted you and you possibly didn't even realize it. This is our jobs. This is what you do every day, literally almost all day, because sometimes you are here almost.
So I'm always watching what caught my eye
and why.
It's
fun when you bring stuff to meetings when you're just like, I saw this banana bread mix or something.
Yes, And what did I say when we were? Because it was Chiquita bananas.
Yep.
And so now they have a banana bread mix, so that if your Chiquita brand bananas are getting overripe, that you can make a banana bread with it.
Yeah.
Well, what another way for a reason? Or I think I brought in a Wendy's
The chili. Yep. Everybody loves Wendy's chili.
Yeah. So they're selling their chili.
And why not? Hormel makes chili, and everybody knows Hormel chili, but we also know Wendy's chili. But if I can get Wendy's chili at the store, I'll buy it and give it a try.
It's another revenue stream.
Yeah. And I mean, that's like such old school marketing, like product placement with the banana bread mix.
But it all plays in there.
And that plays into digital too, because you need your product placed digitally in the right spot.
So you put the overripe tomato or overripe banana there that you normally would have thrown out, and somebody's going, look what I found.
Yeah, it's right here. It's right here.
It's right here.
I don't even have to go around the store and find this thing. It's the marketing's right
there.
Here. It's already right here. I love it. Yeah, another one we talked about was Red Lobster. And I've actually done a little reading into this. Was like Red Lobster had, I think, a company buy it and they deemed it as possibly not feasible. So they closed a bunch of stores down. Right. But what they found a lot of people bought was their biscuits.
Biscuits, yes.
So they've ramped up their biscuit sales in boxes, and it's saving the company to an extent. Yes. So again, they had to look at what data they had available, how it impacted them, and what's the best way to get this.
And think, wow, everybody likes those. What can we do to get that product to those people without having them come in our door?
Yeah, put it in the grocery store. Maybe make a different flavor and pique somebody's interest, Well,
what was it? I
don't know. I do recall seeing
not on Red Lobster, but it was goldfish.
Okay, goldfish crackers.
Goldfish crackers. They have some really cheesy name for it now, and it's designed to go after the adult market. Oh, I can't tell you. Go look it up, guys. Go Google it. Go find it. I guarantee you, it's brand new. It just came out here a couple weeks ago. Goldfish is changed their name and did something to it so that the adults would buy it.
Fun. All right. I'm going to go get me some goldfish later or whatever the adult version are. Maybe
we'll bring it on the next podcast. We'll bring it in a box and tell everybody. They have to come back to see it though.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, let's do it. We'll do that. The call to action for this episode is to come back and
talk about the goldfish box.
Yes. It's going to be fun. All right. Well, I just thanks for taking time out of your busy day. Cause I mean, we work in the same office, but you're busy with meetings. Mostly all day.
My door gets closed a lot anymore, doesn't it?
It sure does, but
I'm sorry. I'm not trying to tell you something. It's just, yeah, she's crying over there.
But the fun part about that is we're getting things delegated out. Like you're the consultant. You're the person who knows all this stuff because you've been entrenched in this for 20-ish, 30-ish years. So you know all this stuff. We're like, I'm good at podcasts because that's what I've done, and we got people that are good at web design and logo building because that's what and we're delegating everything out, and we're all staying really busy towards the end of the year this year.
It's pretty wild.
It's fun. I like it. Well, thank you for joining me.
Yes. Thank you very much.
This podcast is produced by Spin Market and Digital. Located in Fort Dodge, Iowa, Spin Market's highly skilled team can help you increase your market by updating your website, improving SEO, designing advertisements, and producing podcasts that will grab the attention of your market. Contact Spin Market today for all your digital marketing needs at digitalagent@spinmarket.com or call us at 515-302-8026. And to learn more, visit our website at www.spinmarket.com. That's digitalagent@spinmarket.com or 515-302-8026. Or visit our website at www.spinmarket.com.